Hello friends, in this video I am going to discuss about SN1 or unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reactions. Generally, 3-degree alkyl halide or tertiary alcohol or tertiary alkyl ethers readily undergo SN1 reaction or mechanism. Why this tertiary alkyl halides or alcohols or ethers readily undergo SN1 reaction means because the respective intermediate is going to be more stable. Here it's a non-concentrated reaction, the intermediate is going to be the carbocation. Tertiary carbocation is relatively more stable, because of which tertiary alkyl halides, tertiary alcohols, tertiary alkyl ethers readily undergo SN1 reactions. Okay, generally since intermediate is carbocation, right, the rate of the reaction also depends on the stability of the intermediate, that is carbocation. I have already mentioned in the previous videos that a rate of the organic reaction, most of the organic reactions depends on the stability of the intermediate. Since the intermediate is carbocation, if stability of the carbocation increases, rate of the reaction also increases. Generally, chiron carbon containing tertiary substrate on SN1 reaction gives racemic mixture. Why they will give the racemic mixture? Generally, the intermediate is carbocation, the hybridization of the carbocation is going to be sp2 planar, trigonal planar, right? That's what the incoming nucleophile may attack either side, that's what we'll get racemic mixture. Polar protic solvent is preferred for this particular reaction because the intermediate ions are generated during the reaction, the ions will be stabilized with the polar protic solvents generally. Then we can say rate of the reaction depends on the concentration of the substrate only, does not depends on the concentration of the incoming nucleophile. That's what it is a unimolecular reaction. Okay, concentration only depends on the substrate, not on the incoming nucleophile over there. Now let us see the reaction over here. The first reaction, we have a substrate over there. With the substrate we have incoming nucleophile over here, right? Yeah, what happens here, this is the leaving nucleophile, this is the leaving nucleophile, this is the incoming nucleophile, right? Now if incoming nucleophile comes in the same way where the nucleophile is leaving nucleophile is going, right? If the what is that the configuration is going to be same as substrate, those products are known as retention products. Retention products. If the incoming nucleophile comes opposite to that of leaving nucleophile, then it is going to be the inversion product. Okay, yeah, these two together what we call a racemic mixture, we can say. Okay, these two together racemic mixture. Now let us see the mechanism how the reaction takes place. Initially what happens in the rate determining step or a slow step, okay, generation of intermediate takes place, right? Let me write the intermediate over here. This is the intermediate, right? It is sp2 planar, right? sp2 hybridized carbon is there. Okay, next what do we have? We have incoming nucleophile, right? Incoming nucleophile, this is the nucleophile, right? Nucleophile may come in the same direction as leaving group left over there. Let me take it as A, and let me take the second one opposite direction, it is B, right? Retention means what? Same side, right? Retention and inversion. Okay, in retention what happens here, same side incoming nucleophile attacks over there where leaving nucleophile has gone. Okay, simply we can say since leaving nucleophile is right side, right, the incoming nucleophile also will be in the right side. This is the retention product. Okay, let me take the another one, the inversion one. Okay, now leaving nucleophile is right side, right, the incoming nucleophile goes to the opposite to that of leaving group, that's what it is, inversion product. Okay, simply we can remember in this way. Okay, let us take a potential energy diagram for the reaction over here. Initially what do we have? We have a substrate over there, tertiary alkyl halide or tertiary alkyl leaving group over there. Okay, in the rate determining step or slow step what happens? Slow steps what happens? Generation of carbocation takes place. Okay, in the fast step what happens? A nucleophile attacks takes place to the intermediate, and formation of what happens? We will get the product over there. Okay, this is the product, right? Now during the reaction, right, in the rate determining step what is involved? Only alkyl halide substrate is involved, not the nucleophile over there. That's what rate of the reaction directly depends on the concentration of tertiary substrate over there, not on the incoming nucleophile here, correct? Only it depends on what? Only tertiary substrate over there, not on the nucleophile, right? Now let us take some of the reactions here. Some of the reactions over here. Yeah, we have a substrate over there, tertiary substrate over there, and the incoming nucleophile cyanide is there. Okay, what we'll get over here? We'll get a racemic mixture, right? We'll get a racemic mixture. Let me write instead of writing 2, I'll just write it as cyanide racemic mixture. We know this one, right? Racemic mixtures are optically inactive because of all these things we will discuss in the stereochemistry. For now, just remember like this. And here there is a question, okay, in the above reaction, if KCN concentration is doubled, then what happens to the rate of the reaction? Okay, before we discuss what happens to the rate of the reaction, right, now let us see what reaction we are discussing over here. It is a SN1 reaction. It is a unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction, right? In this reaction, only one thing is involved in the rate determining step. What is that? Only substrate is involved in the rate determining step. That determines the rate of the reaction, okay, not the KCN out. That's what happens. KC, by changing the concentration of KCN, right, there nothing is going to be changed over there. No effect on the rate of the reaction. Now let us see these three over there. Out of these three, which is going to be the more reactive towards SN1 reactions, right? Here, good leaving group or like alkyl group is common. Only thing is that leaving groups are different over there. Good leaving group increases the rate of the reaction of SN1 and SN2 both. Okay, now out of these three, which is good leaving group, we know that iodine is good leaving group than that of bromine and chlorine, right? That's what is that? Let me give the numbering 1 2 3. That's what 3 is greater than 2 is greater than 1. Okay, this is the reactive order towards what is that SN1 reaction. Okay, now let us take these three also. I have already mentioned, right, the rate of the reaction directly depends on the stability of the intermediate. What is the intermediate here? Here it is going to be the carbocation, right? Now we have primary carbocation generated during the reaction, secondary, and primary, secondary, and tertiary is there, right? Yeah, which carbocation is going to be more stable over here? We know that tertiary is greater than secondary is greater than primary, right? That's what the reactivity is also going to be. Let me give the numbering 1 2 3. Reactivity is going to be third one is greater than, second one is greater than first one over here. Okay, this is what the reactivity order. Now let us take some of the reactions over here, how the reaction takes place. Now when bromine gets out over there in the SN1 reaction, what happens? Generation of carbocation takes place, right? This is the most stable carbocations among all these carbons over there, because of which the respective what is that nucleophile comes and attacks to the respective carbocation over there. What happens? We get the product something like this. The incoming nucleophile is water over there, formation of alcohols takes place over there. Now let us see in this second case what is going to happen over here, right? The same reagents we are taking over there. Now we have carbocation generated, right? Now let us take this is the secondary carbocation, this is the secondary carbocation, this is also secondary, this is primary, this is primary. We may think that this the adjacent carbons are also secondary carbons, right, because of which no arrangements takes place, right? That is absolutely wrong. When we discussed about the hyperconjugation, right, we have to count the number of alpha hydrogens. With respect to this carbon, right, we have 4 alpha hydrogens, here 2, here 2. Okay, with respect to this adjacent carbon, right, 1 minute. With respect to this particular carbon, right, here we have 3, here we will be having 2 after the rearrangement, because of which we can expect the rearrangement. After rearrangement, what happens? Let me take the hydrogen over there. Hydride shift takes place. After hydride shift, what happens? We will get the carbocation over there. Okay, over here carbocation is the incoming nucleophile will be what is that, attacked over there, and finally we will be getting this kind of product over here. Okay, this is the product. Okay, yeah. Here generally ring expansions we have already discussed, but over here if you take this particular thing, right, when bromine left out over there, leaving group gets out over there, what happens? Generation of carbocation takes place, right? Yeah, this carbocation is relatively more stable than that of the ring expansion, because of which we can expect the like what is that, nucleophile attacks at this particular position itself. we may think why the ring expansion won't take place means this particular carbocation is more stable because of banana orbitals and all those stuff, because of which we can't expect any kind of rearrangements over there. That is why the major product of this reaction is going to be, sorry, its incoming nucleophile is what, right? That's what the product is going to be, this one. Okay, now let us see this one also. Okay, what happens with this one? This is a 5-member ring. Generally 6-member rings are relatively more stable. Okay, we can expect a kind of ring expansion. Okay, initially when bromine gets out over there, after that what happens? Carbocation generation takes place, right? This is 5-member ring. 6-member ring is relatively more stable and we have a chance to for the expansion also. Then what happens here? This is what will happen over here, right? This is again secondary and we have tertiary carbon over here. Again hydrate shift takes place. After hydrate shift what happens? Okay, carbocation is generated at this particular position. Over there nucleophile will be attacked and finally we'll be getting product something like this, OH. Okay, now here also the similar kind of examples already discussed in the previous videos. Now let us see initially what happens. Initially when bromine gets out over there, we'll get carbocation at this particular position. Okay, after carbocation generation, right, what happens? One thing we have to remember. Okay, this is what we can say, this is 4-member ring, this is secondary carbocation, this is tertiary carbocation, right? Tertiary carbocation is relatively more stable. That's what we can expect, a kind of rearrangement over there. 1,2 hydrate shift takes place. After this what happens? Okay, carbocation is generated at this particular position. Now one thing we have to remember, the adjacent ring is, this is 4-member ring, right? 1 2 3 4-member ring is relatively unstable, because of which we can expect a kind of ring expansion over there. After ring expansion what happens? Okay, here where we'll be getting carbocation over there. We may think this is also secondary carbocation. Here again we can expect a kind of ring expansion, right? There is no, not ring expansion, carbocation rearrangement. Here the carbocation is highly unstable. Why unstable means, if you take the bicyclic compound something like this, right, this way, wait, let me write it over here. Okay, here what is it, unbridged positions, right? The carbocations are unstable according to Brett's rule, because of which we can't expect any kind of rearrangement, because of which nucleophile will be attacking at this particular position itself. That's what the product is going to be, this one. Okay, this is the product. And let us see the final one over here. Okay, when bromine gets out over there, what happens? We'll get a carbocation. This is the carbocation, right? After the carbocation what happens? Here the adjacent ring is 4-member ring, right? There is a possibility of expansion, ring expansion takes place. When ring expansion takes place, what happens? We'll get 5-member ring, right? And this carbon is going to be the it generates a here we'll get the carbocation over there. After the ring expansion we have 5-member ring first. Okay, and what do we have? We have carbocation at this particular position, right? But here now is a 4-member ring, right? Again ring expansion takes place. When ring expansion takes place, what happens? Sorry, both the side will get 5-member ring over there. Okay, after ring expansion this bond is breaking, right? That's what this carbon gets the carbocation. This is the carbon which is going to get the carbocation over there. Okay, for this what happens? The nucleophile OH minus will be added over there, and finally we'll get the product something like this. This is the product, right? Since like ions are formed during the reaction, right, we can also write the ion pair mechanism for the SN1 reaction over here. Let us see the ion pair mechanism for the SN1 reaction. Ion pair mechanism. Initially we have a substrate over there, right? Result or L is there, right? During the reaction what happens? Since the leaving group has comparatively more electronegativity, what happens? Partial charges formation takes place. Okay, leaving group has more electronegativity, that's why this one gets the partial negative charge, this one gets the partial positive charge over there. Okay, this is the first step of the reaction. This particular pair is known as intimate ion pair. Intimate ion pair. This is also known as, or this is also known as contact ion pair. Okay, or is also known as tight ion pair. Okay, any one of these names could be considered for this particular step over there. Okay, and for in the forward reaction, what happens? Okay, solvent separation takes place over here. What happens? R, well, partial negative charge, partial positive charge. This is the second step. This is the second step. In the second step, what happens? Solvent separation takes place over there, right? That's what happens. This is known as, this particular step is known as solvent separate ion pair. Solvent separate ion pair, right? The final step, what happens? Generation of ions takes place. R plus L minus. Okay, this is the third step. This is completely dissociated, right? That's what it is. Completely dissociated ion pair. Okay, these three things are there, right? Now in the first step, right, we have three steps over here. Let me take the steps alone here. Yeah, let me take the steps. Now if in the first step, right, nucleophile is added to the reagent, right, nucleophile is added, then what we expect? We will expect only what is that inversion, because incoming nucleophile won't come here, right? Already leaving nucleophile is over there. That's what it has to come from the back. Okay, and the second step, right, what is the second step? Solvent separate ion pair, right? If nucleophile attacking takes place over there we can expect a bit of racemic mixture greater than that of inversion. Okay, now the final step, what is this one? Carbocation is generated, is a planar, right? Incoming nucleophile may attack from either side. That's why in the third step, if incoming nucleophile is added over there or attacked over there, we can expect the complete 100% racemization. Got it? Okay, this is how the we can get the ion pair mechanism for the SN1 reaction. This is all about SN1 reaction and its mechanism and the exceptions and the ring expansion and the contraction and all those stuff. Thank you for watching and please do subscribe.